The United Nations, founded in 1945, was created after the Second World War by 51 countries seeking to keep the world at peace. 80 years later, and the organization continues its impactful work under the leadership of one of Nigeria's leading women. Amina Mohammed is the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations and Chair of the United Nations Sustainable Development Group. The career politician and diplomat, former Nigerian Minister of Environment, has dedicated her professional life to the development of women, girls, and indeed the world. Amina Mohammed, it's an honor to speak to you in such a prestigious occasion. Congratulations on your award this evening. As ever, we are proud of your contributions. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you so much. It's a moment that humbles one, that one is recognized, but I do know that I'm standing on the shoulders of many women, and I hope that this will be an intergenerational inspiration for our young women and our young girls to follow suit and go even higher.
As we do as well. Thank you very much. Well, let's get straight into this. As Nigeria celebrates 65 years of independence and as the world marks 30 years since the Beijing Declaration and Platform of Action, what lessons from the past should shape, do you think, the fight for gender equality today?
Well, I think, first of all, a great appreciation that we are standing on the shoulders of many women have gone by, and it has been a struggle, and it continues to be a struggle, and it is a life journey of your contributions to women being empowered, getting into decision-making and leadership. And so I think, learning the lessons and honoring the women before us, whether it is Fumilayo Ransome-Kuti Gambusa-Waba, to today, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala or Chimamanda. All of these are women who have done great things in and outside of Nigeria. So many, of course, that we don't know the names of. And that's why I think this celebration that you have is so important, that we are bringing more names, more women who are participating in the lessons of the past and forging ahead. So building on the successes that we have had education, a success in education. We still got a way to go. We talk about the quality of education and access to everyone. We also have seen women in parliament. We've seen women in our cabinets across the world. We've had some leaders. I was just in Namibia as we swore in the second elected woman on the continent, first in Namibia. And that's hopeful. That shows you that we can attain the highest office in the land, and we can do that through leadership and through the struggle all the way through.
I'm so glad you mentioned Namibian President Ndatua, because it is a historic moment. But as you know, there are only 29 women currently serving as heads of states or of government. What structural changes do you think are needed to make women's leadership a standard feature of global decision-making rather than just the rare exception here and there?
I think that one of the most important things is for society to own it. If our society of men and women do not own an acceptance that women can lead, as has happened in the past in history very successfully, then I think we have a bit of a struggle in trying to get the other half to vote. But I also think that in many cases, we as women have to lean in and we have to put our money where our mouth is. We want to be in those positions, we have to support women. And I always look to Nigeria and I say, one of my heroes has been Sarah Jibril. Every day, every time she goes for the election in the convention, you see her alone, makes her statement, but how many votes does she have? And in that convention, there are men and there are women. At least she should have been carrying the women's vote. So I think we've got a lot more to do to convince women to get behind women. We are half the population. And I think that we have to do this beyond just election day, all the way through party machinery, all the way through all of the tough road, that 4 years that you have to consolidate at the local level to get your manifesto in, to get your agenda across, and to carry the votes. Of course, it's much easier said than done, but this applies to boards, this applies to leadership in every facet of our society. So some of these changes are policy, some of these changes are legal, and I mean, we've always talked about quotas. I think they work in some places and give us a leg up. The gender laws that need to be addressed. Those parliaments have to acknowledge that, they are serving a population of men and women, and representation of those issues should be seen also in our parliaments, in our judiciary, in the executive, in communities, in the private sector.
Absolutely. And, in addition to having just the quantity of more representation, there's also the issue of cost. We know that gender inequality costs the global economy trillions. Now, in your opinion, what actions must governments and businesses take now to close this gap and unlock the full potential of women and girls?
I think a better understanding of the data and the stats that actually feed that. I think once you have that in front of people, it's very clear the economic case for having women in business, in the economy. And we have to have a set of measures that goes beyond GDP that really encourages that investment to open up those spaces and access for women in the economy. There is the care economy. I like to call it the society, care society, because I believe in many of our developing countries, it is a whole of society approach to this. I think we also have to leverage the informal economy where women are, and where we need to tap that and bring that into the formal economy, therefore, opening up more for GDP. I also think that these are new times, and technology is either going to leapfrog us or it is going to divide us. And I think here, women need to be ahead in STEM. They need to be ahead in access to technologies. And with that comes much empowerment, from financial services to e-commerce, to education. These are all important parts of what needs to be done to put us ahead of the curve. I think with our younger generation, we are going to have an entrepreneurial spirit there that has to be accommodated. We have huge markets, but we've not yet learned how to plug and play those markets in giving the capacity and the resources for startups, for women to really excel in many of the industries that are not so traditional. And I think that also should be given some emphasis. This is work in policy and regulation. This is work in the finance sector, where we open up the opportunities for women to have access to finance. You're often asked, where is your collateral? And yet there are many barriers to women holding collateral in our countries. And so that has to be relaxed, and we have to find ways to ensure that they have access to resources as well.
Agreed. Just everything you said, a huge yes to all of that. Women do have to be ahead in so many areas of life. Deputy Secretary General, it has been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for your time, and a huge congratulations once again.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations to all those women out there. This is an incredible honor to be standing amongst so many, and as I said, on the shoulders of those that have passed. And for whom we have deep gratitude. We just wouldn't be here without them. And I hope that we can continue to do them proud, so that others will take the baton from us and continue.
Thank you so much for your time, and wishing you all the best for your retreat this weekend. Have a safe trip.
Thank you very much, and good luck.